Welcome to Nalu Valley Sports. Uh, the Plascon Entebbe Sevens kick off this weekend at Kawuku on a newly commissioned playing surface. What does this mean to Ugandan rugby to host its first sporting event at this venue?
Yeah, I think it means so much for us because the Uganda Seven Series, as it is one of the biggest opportunities for Ugandan rugby to go away from the central region, which has proven to over time have the strongest teams. So over and above what we've managed to achieve across the last 5 or so years, to be able to go to the different venues across Uganda and different districts. The Plascon Entebbe Sevens are now also taking us to a brand new ground, a ground that has been put up in the Kawuku area, Wajiri area, that has been put up as a commercial ground, but had not yet gotten an opportunity to have any action go on it. And today, Friday, is where the first sort of sporting activity is happening there with our legacy program, where over 300 young pupils are being introduced to the game of rugby in a new community that had not seen rugby before. So for us, it is great growth, an opportunity that clearly we did not plan for, but we are glad that we have managed to bring it on board and it can go down as something whose virginity has been broken, and now we can get to build on that. Yeah.
The legacy program will introduce 300 pupils, like you said, from the Bwerenga community to rugby. How important are such grassroots engagement to the growth of the sport in Uganda?
Yes, the growth of the game is at quite a sensitive point for Ugandan rugby. I've got to say, we are at a point whereby, in as much as the schools continue to grow, there's still a lot of work to be done with schools rugby. We're at a point whereby one of the biggest hubs of Ugandan rugby talent, which was by then the Naguru quarters, the Nakawa quarters, the crop of players that we managed to get from there are maturing, and the numbers that we used to have on the Chadondo grounds, for example, that for those that saw, who have been told, were hundreds of kids every Saturday morning trying to share one pitch and all of that. Those have dwindled greatly and all of that. So that means that the schools program and the community outreaches are going to be, they continue to be very, very important for the Ugandan game. And the legacy program, as far as the sevens tournament is concerned, is one that gets to do that. Every time this big party comes to that ground, to your area, we are saying, who are the little kids we are either introducing to the game or giving an opportunity, if they've already been playing the game, to play at a bigger stage where there is a little more attention, and just give them more reason to love this sport. And that program has gone to Werenga, community that, well, they have got a couple of schools who between them can bring in 150, pupils who you trust that a big percentage of those will be seeing rugby for the first time. There are a couple of other schools that our age grade structures within the Uganda Rugby Union have been working with, that are getting to top up some of those kids and bringing them to the pitches. And what you're saying is that, again, if 300 have gone out today, some 20 or so, maybe more, maybe 100, will be those that get to see through that cycle and maybe someday get to show up for our clubs. We're at a point whereby, of course, we come out of the Rugby Africa Cup and we've seen, the performance on the pitch and what it looked like, and it should be triggering, questions about what can we do to ensure that we prepare for the next cycle the right way. This might be so many cycles behind, but it has got to start. They have got to be there when the next cycle is getting to be done. Again, a kid who has learned the game at the age of 4, 5, 7, is always going to be different from the kid that has learned that game at 13, 15, where usually the school's rugby kid is going to learn the rugby. So these are all parts of the ecosystem that we need to keep moving. And we are just really proud that we are able to do that with this program.
Let's talk about the competition and the team dynamics. With the withdrawal of Victoria Sharks and the Chisubi Pacers taking their place in Group B,
Yeah.
How do you anticipate the change impacting to the competitiveness of the tournament?
It doesn't necessarily greatly impact the competitiveness of the tournament. It will still be very, very competitive. This is something that was said to be giving us a very interesting Pool B, because in there was some really strong teams that were going to be competing in that particular. And it's sad that we don't get to have the Victoria Sharks this weekend. But then again, it's an invitational side, and at the end of the day, they are not bound to compete in these events. The Victoria Sharks, same as the Impis and the Warriors, are teams that will be battling for those two spots that will be opening up at the end of this current campaign. And that is such that they can come back to being core sides as far as the Uganda 7 Series is concerned. Now, of course, their priorities will be ensuring that they achieve that core status. What does that mean? They have competed in the Cura Sevens. They have achieved an opportunity, especially that is the Sharks and Impis, who have gotten now that opportunity to go and compete at the national level to be the two teams that get to come back to the national team. Their priority, of course, will be the nationals when they come around. An invitational side event like this is really up to their discretion. Do we want to compete there? Do we not want to? Is it a case of the budgets? Will they allow? Will they not allow? And all of that. And it's totally understandable. The Chisubi Pesters, we are really grateful to them. They are also one of the home sides, really, from Entebbe. So there's a positive to that. Another Entebbe side gets to compete this weekend. And they also are not a pushover, especially as far as Sevens rugby is concerned. So we should continue to have a very interesting game. Of course, we've also had the news from Ginger. I've not seen the squads that they've put across, but you want to think that you also have a stronger Ginger team coming in the form of Hippos Rugby. The Nairo Rapids, hopefully, are also a stronger team, which also takes the competition to another level. And for the men, a very interesting Pool C. So still a very, very competitive weekend.
We have gotten to see 4 different winners in the different rounds.
Yeah.
Both in the men and the women. Which teams or players are you keeping a close eye on in both the men and the women categories ahead of a Plascon Sevens?
Yeah, I would. About 3 months ago, I would gladly tell you which team I was looking out for as far as this is concerned. Has it changed? No, but hey, we can't exactly be doing that. But again, over and above the competition, it is amazing to watch. 4 different winners. As far as the men's category is concerned, 2 teams that have, over the last couple of years, looked like the biggest disturbers, the teams that everyone wants to avoid, have come out and have won the first 2 stops as far as the men are concerned. For the women as well, I have to say that over the last 2-3 years, we've known that Black Pearls plays, they win. And the Thunderbirds, who have been one of their challengers, especially in the league this year, have come through and won one. They have made another final, and the Avengers have said no. So for me, it's a perfect start to a season like this. We have one of the top 3 teams that are yet to make a semi-final. The other one has the other 2 of the top 3 have only made one semi-final each. It is that competitive, and I think it gives us a whole new dimension of competition. Do these, formerly categorized as those that come to spoil the party, could they continue and be consistent? And suddenly they're the ones that are really chasing the title. Entebbe will be this weekend will be telling us a whole lot about that. But yes, every team will be worried about them. Then the big boys, who is going to come back up and all of that? Who are they going to be sending to the pitch this weekend and all of that? It is a whole different era of Ugandan rugby, and we're excited about it.
Let's talk about sponsorship and event growth. This time round, Plascon Uganda has been credited with elevating Entebbe Sevens as one of the most anticipated sports in the rugby calendar. What role do sponsors play in growing rugby more in Uganda?
Sponsors, they play a huge role. Sponsors play in the market where we want the game to play. When you look at what they get to do in terms of even the graphics, the kinds of activations they manage to do around the game and all of that, they are business focused on their end, yes, but they still get the game and put it in a place where an individual club or even the Uganda Rugby Union itself would not be able to put the game or the teams at. So they are very, very crucial over and above the income that obviously they get to bring into the games, and you are able to, put on an event. When you look at what Neo Special gets to do to enable teams and officials and everyone to be in all those different districts that we are talking about, it is, close to 100 million pretty much every weekend when they're getting out of the country and all of that. So in terms of just supporting the teams, it's not, again, we're not at the point whereby we are able to give the teams everything they need to be playing there, but they subsidize still to those tunes of money and all of that. When you look at what Rockboom are doing, they've pretty much enabled our teams forget about the worry of hydration on game days. Currently, all weekend, your team is sorted as far as the drinks are concerned and all of that. When you see the convenience of ticketing that we're getting from MTN Momo, when you see the broadcast that keeps improving that we get from NBS Sport, and all the other different things that get to come into play. It's priceless what sponsors get to bring on board. Now, when you go further and look at the quality of sponsor that comes out and says, you know what, this thing is coming home, I still want to contribute. And for us, this is where we thank Plascon Uganda so much for enabling us have the event that we're managing to have, all the challenges that our Among Us friends have had to be able to hold this stop, them standing by them and telling them we will figure out how we go about this. It is Plascon that have come through and said, this weekend we don't have to use lime as far as pitch marking is concerned. We are a paint company. We'll give you the right product for that. What do you need to do? Whatever. They've pretty much taken care of everything on top of what other sponsors are getting to put in place. The importance of sponsors to the game, priceless. We really need to just keep that growing and challenge ourselves as a game to say, okay, so we have Plascon, what else can we add on the Mongas? You have this sponsor, what else can you add on them, and what kind of value can you give them? I believe that Ugandan rugby is in such a unique position. We don't have the number of fans that we see thronging Nambole to watch Chan and all of those kinds of things, but they too do not have the value, or they do not give the value that this unique niched rugby crowd can get to give. So for me, we have quite a number of sponsors. I mean, we had more than 10 for Rugby Africa Cup. Have you heard of that? Over the last couple of years, all we've had is Now Special as far as these competitions are concerned. I just mentioned 3, 4 more, and I didn't even mention all of them. People like Reproductive Health Uganda, who are bringing support to the communities. In Bwerenga alone, I'm already, earlier today I was getting calls about, some people have actually already arrived from the community of Bwerenga, and they're saying Batugambe Wanwali War Abasawo, that kind of stuff. So they're priceless for the teams, for the day-to-day, yes, but also the communities within which these teams exist. So we can only hope for more and pray that we manage to align everything that we are trying to put in place to be able to attract and satisfy the sponsors that get to come through. So we can be a vehicle, a thing that marketing managers, brand managers, budget holders know that I need to save this percentage for Ugandan rugby, whichever club, whichever property they get to take on.
Any plans to expand partnerships or introduce new initiatives to enhance the fan experience at the tournament?
Yes, there are plans that are in place to see that we get more commercial value coming to the game. One of those is a bit of a collaboration, a continued collaboration with the different technical heads in the game and all. As you've seen, for example, now we've created the draws as a property of its own. Prior to this, what we had was the draws happening on the second day, probably before the final. We have the draws and everyone knows which pool they'll be playing in and all of that. Our argument now is, well, that is good and all of that, but it's a conversation that gets covered in our debates of who won the stop and what, and what not. And our vision to this is, can we create another product and where we're collaborating with the technical heads is, if we weren't able to give you those pools on day 2, where can we put them where we on the commercial end of things can also create a new product like we've created it, but also cause conversation on the timelines and all of that in terms of who came, who picked which teams, and who gave their team a very tough group, so that conversation about who the team will face the next weekend is a whole independent conversation that we can commercialize. That is one of the things that we are trying to do. And again, we've got to start, we've got to try and then polish as we get to go, especially where we can meet on reason. The other thing we are now also collaborating with the technical heads is in terms of drawing the calendar much earlier. So maybe by the time we come to the end of this current 7th season, our hope is that we shall be able to figure out which weekends will be available for the 2026 now special Uganda 7 series. And if those dates can be demarcated, at least provisional ones that we can work with, we want to work towards having the bids to host going out much earlier, shortly after this season is done, so that, and that is the goal, a potential host has at least 6 months of preparation. Who do I have to approach? Where can I go? And all of those kinds of things, and see how much more partners now those teams can get to have. And also for us to be able to collaborate with those bid winners to see where we can support them in terms of getting, even if it were regional specific sponsors that can come on board and give them the value that they can. That is the big dream, and we'll be working towards achieving that, among other efforts, of course.
Any message for the fans that are attending the Entebbe circuit?
Yeah, the 2025 Plascon Entebbe Sevens is upon us. It is pretty much on. Today's Friday. The legacy program has happened, and Saturday, Sunday, the action starts. I am excited because, again, with all due respect to the other teams that have played at 8 a.m., the Heathens will be playing at 8 a.m. So I urge every fan who sees a Heathens fan hanging out on Friday night to send them home, because they have serious business in the morning against the team that defeated them in Guru. So that means we shall be starting on a high note, and the action cannot stop the moment it starts. Come out, let's have a great time. It's a new ground, it's a new experience. I have seen quite a number of people. I've not seen so many people be excited about camping like these are. Great community, those facilities are there, the hotels are there for those who want to. You can still drive back to Kampala, back home if you want to, but it's going to be an amazing weekend. The job that the Plascon mongers have put in organizing this event is a tremendous job. Our sponsors now special, Rock Boom, NBS Sport, Momo, MTN Momo, Reproductive Health, Uganda, and just about everyone, SofaScore, and Uganda Tourism Board are putting together such a product that you cannot be told about. If you are wondering why you need to be in Entebbe this weekend, imagine this beautiful new structure. There's so many great things, and you are the only one who is saying, I wasn't able to go there. Don't be the one who tells that story. Sorry, but no, don't talk. Let's be there so we can talk. Hey, hey.